You're still watching the Hallowed Chambers, and my guest today is an honorable member of the House of Representatives. He's a lawmaker representing Esako Federal Constituency in Edo State. His name is Honorable Johnson Egwaide Oghuma. It's good to have you on the program.
It's a pleasure.
So we understand that the ad hoc committee met with the CBN governor over its new Naira policies. Would you say this meeting reached a logical conclusion?
No, you cannot say logical conclusion because it's still work in progress, because one of the objectives is to get the CBN governor to appear before us. That one was achieved. And the main object of the whole thing is to ensure that the Nigeria populace, they get what they deserve. And that is yet to be achieved because it's still work in progress. And as a committee, the committee, that is why it's still on. It's not been wound up because the work is in progress, and we have to still continue to interface with both the CBN and the bank executives to ensure that this hardship and this suffering we are going through at least come to an end.
Well, would lawmakers say they are getting a positive response from the CBN governor from the first meeting? Is there any light at the end of the tunnel? Would you say that?
Light at the end of the tunnel, for me, as an individual, is when there's a relief from Nigerians, myself inclusive, that you talk about light at the end of the tunnel. So I cannot personally, particularly myself, I can't say there's light yet because the stress is too much, and businesses are grounded, and nothing is happening. You enter any bank now, you cannot transact any business. The queues at the ATM I don't know how to describe it. It's very, very painful. And if as a lawmaker, a federal lawmaker, I do not have access to 20,000 naira, what do you expect from villagers, people from my areas, petty traders that do not even have access to banks? They need cash to trade. Produce buyers, they carry cash to the farms to buy. There are no POS in the farms. So there's no light yet because the pain is, I cannot describe it.
Well, why does there seem to be so much controversy surrounding these policies, being that the CBN already said there were wide consultations? Who exactly did the CBN consult with before initiating these policies?
As for me to address that question, I would say that there was nothing like wide consultation. Because if we were not consulted as National Assembly members, people representing the people, then where is the wide consultation? Who said that there was wide consultation? If there was wide consultation, the outbursts from the National Assembly, it wouldn't have been so. Because there was no consultation, there was no discussion. So that is why you saw the way the motion came and everybody was for it. So there was nothing like wide consultation.
Well, from your response, it is still very unclear what will happen when the CBN's deadline elapses. The reps want banks to accept these old Naira notes even after the deadline. And the CBN governor is not shifting. He says these old Naira notes will only be redeemable at the CBN after this deadline elapses. What is the true state of things? Where are we now as a country?
I would say my opinion will not be different from yours because the facts are already in the market. Everybody is aware of it, that the CBN governor said on the 10th, the legal tender policy of the old Naira note, he said it ends on the 10th, until on the 17th you can see redeem the old currency, even when the fixed date has expired. But that I feel that the law is superior to CBN, and CBN is subject, the staff in CBN, they are subject to the law. It's not that demand there is higher than the law of the land. So we are waiting. That is why the committee is still in the process. Because after 10th and the 17th, then we'll address the law properly.
All right. Again, some people are insisting that these policies are for the overall good of Nigerians, including it seems to have a strong backing from the President Muhammadu Buhari. Do you agree and also see the good side in these policies?
I'm not against a cashless policy, but that every policy that is designed to reduce pains of the people. Every policy, every government policy is to work for the good of the people. If the cashless is to work for the good of the people, I am not particularly happy about the rush. The rush, the way we are rushing the politics as if Nigeria is folding up tomorrow, that is what I'm not comfortable with.
So the CBN keeps giving assurances that all this hardship is expected and with time things will normalize. How do you juxtapose the assurance of the CBN and the hardship Nigerians are currently facing at the moment with access to cash, the network structure is collapsing? How do you compare the two?
The implementation of this policy will not give their targeted result. Why? I will explain. In countries where you have 24 hours power supply, then you can be rest assured that this kind of a policy can work smoothly. But in Nigeria, where there are so many communities in Nigeria that do not have access to power. 774 local government headquarters, almost 20% of them do not have banks in their even local government headquarters. Myself speaking to you, don't have a proper bank in my local government headquarters. So when there is no power, even where there's power, it is not stable, and the access to internet is not available, how do you think that this thing you can implement it seamlessly? It's not possible.
Even with these options, we understand that a lot of people are already taking advantage of the situation.
In my federal constituency, Etako West, East, Central, the ATMs there are only the banks that are in Auchi, maybe Akinebode. In the whole of my local government, there's no bank. So where do you drive everybody to ATM? How?
Like I said.
And to even go to the ATM, you can imagine even the fuel scarcity.
Of course.
This is a very wrong timing and the leisure is on. We can't even have access to fuel. How do we campaign? I think somebody needs to stand up and reason properly.
And how do you take, what is your opinion about the Nigerians are already taking advantage of this situation, especially the POS operators themselves? We hear that they are already charging as high as 10% on each transaction. What is your position on this?
They charge more.
Okay.
Even some villagers from my place that went to POS people in Auchi today said, in every 1,000, you pay 200. So, in every 1,000, you pay 200. That is 20%. In every 1,000, you pay 200. That is 20%. A lot of people are stranded. We can't travel. You can't. Even your ATM is not functioning. It's not functioning. Even to do electronic transfer, it's not functioning. What kind of policy is not functioning? I went to my bank, what is happening? I can't even raise 20,000 to travel home. What is going on?
One of the reasons the CBN governor gave is that these policies will help tackle the spate of insecurity we currently face as a country. But would you agree with him that what is going on presently is actually going to tackle the level of insecurity we have in this country?
On the long run, not on the short run. On the long run, when everybody has gone cashless, it will work. But when you see get to our villages, even with this thing that is happening now, Anybody with cash now is not ready to take it to the bank. Nobody takes 1 naira to the bank now, because if you take it there, you will not have access to any. You will not have access to any. How many people with ATM? How many people are banking in Nigeria? Out of 200 something million, how many millions are in the banking system? How many? How many? And you need the money to survive anywhere you are, whether you're in the city or you're in the village.
All right, we'll take a short break now. When we return, we'll still be speaking with Honorable Johnson Oghuma. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
The National Assembly is a busy place. As the bastion of democracy, it is a place where bills are presented, motions debated, laws made, and the yearnings of the people are laid bare. Come with us as we take you through the workings of the National Assembly. We take you through plenary, committee meetings, and probes, all to ensure smooth working of the democratic process.
Thank you for staying with us. If you are just joining us, we are still speaking with the Honorable Member representing Itsako Federal Constituency of Edo State. His name is Honorable Johnson Egwaide Oghuma. Thank you for staying with us, sir. So the CBN says it has recorded some level of progress. According to what they say, they have recovered over 2.7 trillion naira so far. Does this stand for anything?
When you say I recovered 2.7 trillion naira, was the money missing before? The money was in the system. Money was in circulation. Who released the money before? You released the money to the circulation. When you say I recovered 2.7 trillion, that is not what Nigerians are looking for. We want to have access to our money and be able to transact business and make ends meet. Federal government is not taking care of the whole Nigeria. State government are not taking care of a lot of people. A lot of people depend on their hard work and their individual businesses. When you withdraw money from the system, you say it's an achievement. Money that you can always use policy to reduce money in circulation. That you withdraw it is an achievement. He was the one that supplied the money before. So that is, to me, that is not, we need to go to other areas.
The CBN governor shunned several invitations from the House of Reps, including the Senate, until he was threatened with an arrest warrant. It is not also the first time that we are seeing heads of ministries, departments, and agencies shunning the invitation of the National Assembly. What do you say is the reason behind disregard for the legislature that we have been seeing so far?
I don't know. The way to address that, I've been a legislator, both at state and federal level. The Constitution has given us power to compel anybody to appear before us. Anyone that fails to appear before us is a disregard to the people of Nigeria. And I always agree that all measures should be taken to compel anybody that we want to address. When we talk to you, if I address you in a committee, I'm not talking as Johnny Oghuma. I'm talking for Nigeria people. The whole Nigerian people cannot assemble here and begin to speak to the people that we have given responsibility to.
But why does it have to reach the level of being threatened?
It's because of disobedience. They don't have rigors for the institution. That is why we should take any measure that is constitutionally allowed to compel anybody to appear before us.
Okay, do you share the sentiment of some people in your party, the APC, that say the CBN policies and other issues in the country seems to be orchestrated by certain individuals for political reasons?
I cannot say that because when you say certain individuals, my only answer to that, your question, is that when you design a policy, you want to implement a policy, you should weigh the state of the nation, what is going on. This, for me, this is not the appropriate time to introduce this kind of policy. I had expected at least 4 years ago we would have done this so that to give room, because in a general election, this is not the period where all these hardships are supposed to take place.
With the elections just a few weeks away, by the grace of God, your party will be heading to the polls to test its popularity in the elections. Would you say APC is still a party to beat, given all these issues that is playing before us?
APC is the party to beat. What they have failed to achieve, we have achieved them. Now we are talking peacefully now. The Boko Haram that we met that took over so many local governments in Nigeria, nobody is remembering it now. There is peace everywhere now. Nobody is remembering it. What they could not do, we have achieved it. And yet, in this election, we win it. It's non-negotiable. We are going to win it. And for the person of Asiwaju, is a man to beat in this election. He has paid his price. I agree with him. In those days when we were fighting this democracy, his life was online. He threw everything to caution to make sure we get to the level we are. So when people start saying this or that, you can't take it away from him.
I love your confidence there. I love your confidence there. I will deviate a little. At the peak of the flooding incidents that ravaged many parts of the country, including your constituency, you accused the National Emergency Management Agency of being biased in the distribution of relief materials. Did your outcry get the desired result?
No. And I'm sure if it still happen, they will still repeat the same thing. So no.
Why is that?
They are biased, and I said it in my last interview. They sit in Abuja, they give figures. They don't go down there to see what is going on. They are biased, and they are not, the national emergency, they are not properly organized.
On a final note, you will not be returning to the National Assembly in the next democratic dispensation. Briefly summarize the high points of your representation of your people and your major contributions in terms of bills, motions, and legislative proceedings.
I'm sure you have access to my motions and my bills. And I know within even the House here, you have a regulatory body. You yourself, whether the other paper has confirmed that almost all my bills, they are people-driven. So go and check them. They are people-driven. I feel within my capacity, I've represented my people well, and they are not regretting. And I know within the few period that I'll be away, they will feel it. But I pray that the one coming after me, God will help him. But that I am not coming out does not mean that I may not come again. I hope you understand.
Thank you for watching this week's episode of the Hallowed Chambers. You can watch a repeat broadcast of the program at 7 a.m. on Sunday, and you can always see this episode and other previous episodes on TVC News YouTube page. Thank you for watching. I am Tijesu Adeoye. See you next time.